Okay guys, we got a little bit more free time today, and we're working on the center hole that's going to hold the transmission bearing retainer, and that diameter is 5" 125, and I'm just creeping up on it now. Remember last time we put in our step there to locate it in the bell housing, or the flywheel housing, and now we're just creeping up on this, and I've got the lathes sped up to 171 for RPM because we're working on a smaller hole now, and let's see if I can start this with the camera in my hand. Okay, we're feeding in. And not much of a chip breaker working for us here, but no big deal. We're just about finished. Just got to clean up the board just a little bit, make some spring passes, and start fitting in the bearing retainer until we get the fit that we like. Bearing retainer measures 5" 123 and a half, and the factory GM bell housing is 5" 125. So we're going to creep up on it real slow, make sure we get the diameter we're looking for. Okay, there's our finished center hole. I made 4 spring passes, and I came up with 5" 124 and a half. A little bit smaller than the factory setup. But we can get that in there perfectly. A little hard coming out, but I could take another half thou if we need it, but try and get that out. Okay, so we've got that right where we want it, and don't forget this is in there backwards. This will be coming through the other side, but now we got to start digging all this out because our clutch and pressure plate will interfere with that. So we're going to start turning some diameters down, and we're going to leave it. Before we flip it, we're going to do all the lathe work on this side. Then we'll flip it and tune up the other side just a little bit. So now we know our bearing retainer fits. Happy with that fit, and a lot of this material has got to get hogged out of here. So I'm going to set up and do that next. Okay guys, we're just roughing out our first diameter here. Our first diameter is going to be 12.5 inches, and that's going to pick up our bolt patterns of the 465. It's an aggressive cut right there, but we've got a lot of material to hog through, and a lot of repetition here, just going to make a lot of chips, and I'll be back with you from time to time to show you the progress. Okay, we've got another huge mess of chips here, and we are hogging a lot out of the back side here. We've got our first dimension in, and this is a 12-inch diameter circle, and we're starting with another 8-inch diameter there, and we are 2 1/8 inches in there. And then we've got to go about another ½ inch on that one. So as you can see, it makes a lot of chips, and we'll weigh this once we get it off here. Once we get all the lathe work and milling and everything done. This started out as a 93-pound piece of aluminum, and we'll throw it on the scale when I'm finished and see what it weighs. But we're just chipping away at it little by little, making progress. And like I say, to finish the other side of this, we'll grab it in here or in the hole, wherever is easier. We'll just grab it and give one finish cut there, so when the transmission hits up against it, we know it's perfectly flat. So this is where I'm at. I'm just going to keep chipping away. Okay guys, we got that one side finished, and this outer dimension is finished. Our inner dimension here where it goes into the flywheel housing is perfect. Our 12-inch diameter is going to catch our transmission mounting bolts. Our 8-inch diameter is going to catch our clutch pivot ball, and the bearing retainer will be located in there. And this side is finished. Put a little light chamfer on everything so it's not sharp or anything. And at some point we're going to have to figure out the fork, and we're going to have to mill a slot for the fork to pivot. I'm not worried about that right now. I just want to get the lathe work done. So it is now time to flip it and put it back into chuck, zero it out, and take a pass on the transmission face. And we're going to finish this edge to finish dimensions, and we're going to smooth this edge out because we got some roughness from the end mill there. We're just going to lightly touch that, but it's coming along. I'm going to get it flipped around and hopefully have enough time in the day to finish the other side as well. Okay, we got it flipped around, and we're just taking a light pass and getting the face of it perfectly flat. So just taking a nice cut. We'll just run that all the way out, and then we'll work on the other details and get this guy finished up in no time. Okay everybody, there is the finished piece as far as the lathe work goes. All our dimensions are right on the money, and it's ready to come off the lathe now. We've got to put the holes in. I'm going to stick the transmission in there upside down, you know, just lay that on a bench, stick the tran in there standing up, mark the mounting holes, and then mark the hole for the clutch fork. So let me go show you the original Chevy bell housing, and I can show you what the holes are going to look like on there. Okay, here is the bell housing that 465 came off of. So you can see you've got your two top holes. That's the outline of the transmission there. Two top holes are wide, and the bottom ones are even wider. And there's our pin for the fork. And I got a new one. So we've got to get that in the right spot. So like I say, I'm going to put the tranny on that piece that we just made, and mark the mounting holes, then measure carefully for where this guy goes, and then we have to get some kind of hole in it for the fork to come out of. And because this is on an angle, it could be a very small hole. We're going to have to probably mill a slot in our new housing there to get the fork to operate properly. But I'm not going to know all that until I get all the holes in it and get the mounting holes and stuff like that. So we'll do that another day. It's getting kind of late today, but I'll get it off the lathe at least, and I'm going to throw it on a scale, see how much material we removed off that thing. I've got quite a load of chips, and I'm just curious. So I'll meet you over at the scale in a little bit. Okay guys, got to work ourselves by a few engines here. and get over to the scale. Okay. This housing right now, without any holes in it or without any milling for the fork or anything, weighs 41.5 pounds. And it started out at 93, so I milled and machined 51.5 pounds off this billet. A little bit more than I thought, but it's still plenty strong. Here's the other side. Still plenty strong, heavy duty, and just what I wanted. So we'll just keep moving along on this thing. I'm going to take it over to the bench and try it one last time on an actual housing and see how our dimension here fits. We haven't tried that yet. We just went on dimensions. So let's check that out next. Okay guys, as you remember, transmission's still on there. Our aluminum housing has taken the place of these 4x4s I had it jigged up on. And like I say, our dimension worked out to be 3 inches 420 from the face of this to the face of our transmission, and we hit that right on the money. Now here's another housing. This one had the starter in the wrong place. I needed the starter a little bit lower in the second quadrant there to clear the turbo that's going to be on the engine. But this inside diameter is specific, the bolt holes, everything is specific to SAE3 housings, which is 16 1/8 on the inside. And let's see how our ring, our adapter fits in there. Okay, there is our flywheel housing. Let me grab our adapter. Okay, that looks like it's sitting nice in there. We don't have any moving around or anything, so that looks like that's going to be perfect. I've got to now figure out where the holes are going to go, get all the holes drilled in here so we can bolt it to the housing we're using, and continue on. But I'm happy with the way everything's fitting. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. So, lathe work is finished, and we'll be milling stuff, drilling and tapping holes, getting the final details worked out of this. And so far I'm very happy going this way instead of any other way to adapt the 465. A few guys have commented different ways they thought I should have went, but nothing was going to work for me, and this is going to be I think this is going to be perfect. And yeah, in a lot of time, I've probably got, oh, I don't know, about 30 hours in this piece right here. But you know, it's better than making any kind of little adapters and using crazy bell housings and stuff like that. So I'm real happy the way it's coming out. And this is the kind of stuff you can do if you take your time and you got some machines in your shop and stuff. If you take your time, you can easily make something like that. But we'll just keep continuing on. I'll take you along and show you along the way how it goes. But so far, very happy. And we're going to end this one here today. And it's getting real close to Christmas time. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. And let's hope we get a good New Year. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll come back sometime between Christmas and New Year and start popping some holes and tapping some holes and stuff like that. And I'll take you along for that. But everybody enjoy Christmas. And I will catch you sometime very shortly. And we'll continue moving on with this. Okay, thanks for watching again.